Good morning and welcome to the last stream of 2023. What's new with Mike and Jeff? I'm your host, Mike, and with me is the man with the plan, drinking the dew, Mr. Jeff.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying my I've been up since 5:30, so
I've been
almost
up
lunchtime.
since 4, so
Yeah.
I've already drinking a Monster. I'm on my second Monster and a cup of coffee.
Oh my God.
Yes. Good morning, Heron. And just to let you know, Heron, I named an RPG character after you. So you may live a glorious life in my upcoming campaign, or you may not live such a glorious life. We will see, but I will keep you posted. I love the name Heron. I think for a fantasy character, I think that is a great name. And I'm putting together an adventure, kind of an educational adventure.
Yeah.
On taking all of this information I absorb for solo gaming,
Right.
and I'm going to put it all out there as an adventure that people can kind of follow along with and kind of learn some of the tools and techniques of solo gaming.
Cool.
Because there is a phenomenon going on where it's really easy for anybody to publish something right now.
Yeah, that's true.
You got all the print-on-demand sites like Amazon and DriveThru RPG and Lulu and some other ones. Good morning, Joe. And anyone can literally just type something up and self-publish it.
Yeah.
So there, it's what's the word? Decision paralysis, overwhelming paralysis.
Paralysis by analysis.
Yes, that's it. You so much. I want to make it. You do that. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna. Mike doesn't really fit in a fantasy world, so maybe you can make me an orc in your world. Make me like an orc chieftain, so I'm all big and buff.
Right.
And you can call me Chief Greenskins. Chief of the Greenskins. That's
There
it.
you go. There you go.
There you go. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know, Heron, I haven't seen you in a little while, and this is something I started working on about a month ago. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's kind of like the leader of my Outriders squad, Lenny.
Yeah. Yes.
My Space Wolf warrior named Lenny.
Lenny, but he looks like Lenny.
He does.
He looks exactly like Lenny. So
he does.
So are you all ready for the holidays? Upcoming?
In no way, shape, or form.
All right.
That's. But I have my grandkids this afternoon.
Okay.
And I haven't put my tree up yet. I'm not a big leave the tree up forever. I know you go. Andy goes crazy at Christmas.
They've been up since October,
which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. It's a great holiday. But I have a very small apartment, and I've got to kind of rearrange everything to get a tree in here. So I'll be putting the tree up probably tomorrow and wrapping presents and putting the presents on. I only really buy for the grandkids and a few and my own kids and a few friends.
Sure. Very cool. Very cool. Do you have a tree outside your window?
I have a bush.
Why don't you just decorate the bush?
That would require me going outside.
Oh yeah. You got snow yet?
We had some snow. And they're calling for a lot of snow this year for us, which I'll be kind of hoping that it does. I love snow.
Yeah.
We had a really good snowfall. I mean, it was really coming down, but the ground wasn't cold, so it didn't. And there was no real accumulation because the minute the snow hit the ground, it just melted off.
So you got mud.
Yeah, we got mud. and it wasn't like normally. I remember my first snowfall when in Phoenix. On the rare occasion it does have any kind of frozen precipitation. I was working at Paradise Valley Mall, and a bunch of guys came in and said, "Oh my God, it's snowing outside!" And I had just moved to Arizona, and I'm like, "What?" So I got to see this. So I walk outside, and I'm standing in it, and I looked over, and I went, "Guys, this isn't snow." They're like, "Yeah, it is." I said, "It's sleet."
Yeah, it's hail.
They're like, "What's sleet?" I went, "It's literally rain that started to become snow, but didn't quite make it."
didn't cross the finish line of creating the snow, the light, fluffy snow that we want to have. Yeah. We get the Arizona gets the hard rocks of frozen rain that hit
Yeah.
it and accumulate on the ground because, yeah.
I said, what you're getting pelted with right now that you're calling snow is actually simply slush.
Every once in a while we get the hailstorm in Arizona, and we all get excited about it, and we go take pictures of it and put it on Facebook. I'm guilty of it.
I have yet to drive through Oklahoma, and I've driven through Oklahoma in my years a lot of times. I've yet to get through Oklahoma without running into a hailstorm. It's insane.
The other day, Andy and I were someplace, I forget where, and the car next to us was all dented up, and I'm like, oh, they hit a hailstorm because you can tell it's like a machine gun.
Yeah,
went off on it, but nothing penetrated the metal.
Well, when I moved back to Arizona back in 2015, I got caught in a really bad hailstorm in my U-Haul truck, and I pulled over, but there wasn't underpass. So I had to pull over because I couldn't see, I couldn't drive, and I pulled over, and there was a car like 20 feet in front of me, and I mean we're getting pelted with some hail. I actually cracked my windshield, and this guy in front of me, I don't know who he is, gets out of his car.
Oh.
And he's running around his car in this hail, and I can see him getting pelted. And they were the size of a dime or bigger.
Right.
That's and like I said, one of them cracked my way, and I'm going. I said, if you collapse because you get hit with a bunch of this in five, I said, I have to get out of the car now and go help you. So and then finally got back in the car. I'm like, oh.
What was he doing though? What was his logic?
He got out, got something out of the trunk, got back in, and I'm like, and he had his hand over his head, and you can just see the hail just bouncing everywhere, and I'm like, I am going to have to get out of this truck, weather this hailstorm to go save this guy, and because he was getting pelted pretty bad, and I was afraid it was going to go to the golf ball size stuff.
Maybe he needed a blanket and it was in his trunk.
Haley, get down. I mean, I thought I was going to be without a windshield because it cracked my windshield in 3 places, and I was like, "Great!" And I'm like,
"Time to buy cars after a hailstorm."
I'm grabbing my rental agreement, going, "I'm sure I paid for the insurance," and I returned the U-Haul, and I'm like, I go, and it was literally pitted with golf ball sized little dents. I mean, it looked like a golf ball. The white truck had all these golf ball divots in it. And I said I got caught in a hand. And I actually called them while I was sitting in the truck to go, A, do I have insurance? And B, I want to, I'm going to get caught in a hailstorm. And the lady on the other line said, we'll put it on your rental agreement so that when you check it in. And when I checked it in, I said, I hope I have insurance to cover this. She goes, no, it's an act of God. You're covered we cover that. Oh, great. Here's your BWO.
I think there's certain things like they just, like, I think they just cover it.
Yeah, nothing I can do about it. So
yeah, it's not like I intentionally drove down the street to get into a hailstorm.
What I didn't tell them was I actually stopped and partied in a driving range, and I parked out on the backside and just
there you go.
The truck with golf balls.
So. No, I think they could probably do some research to decide if there was a hailstorm in the area that you claim there was a hailstorm. I think we have the technology to know past weather from like a day or two ago.
Possibly.
There is a very strong possibility we have that technology.
I'm doubtful.
Hey, it just depends on where you're looking for your information.
This is true. So what have you been up to, buddy?
I finished up some more models. I'm getting more models prepped. So I'm still driving forward. I still, what's today? The 16th. So I still have like 15 days. I'm going to say more like 10 days because there's some things going on between now and then.
Sure.
To finish up the rest of these models for my Song of Ice and Fire army.
Yeah.
That once I finish these last few models that's going to be like the core of the army. I still have like the very specialized characters for all the off-board type stuff, and I have to decide. I'm probably going to paint the banners, but again, I haven't painted a lot this year. I've done a lot of other things like building dice trays and wood boxes and stuff like that. I did a lot of other things, but I really haven't done a lot of painting as we normally do. Plus, I built a castle and went to Gen Con, and I did some other stuff this year. Years back. Remember that? Yeah, there was a really bad one out here years back. So anyways, so I've been wrapping that stuff up. I just need to figure out a storage solution for these models. I don't know if I just want to do the typical box magnets and all that kind of stuff, or if I'm just going to do like a foam tray type situation. I don't know.
You'll figure it out.
Well, storage is an issue anymore, and I think that's one of the things that slows me down a little bit.
Right.
Where do I put it when I'm done?
I'm having the same problem. I've got to now miniature cases. It's not an issue for me. I got plenty of miniature cases.
Sure,
but I'm going to have to buy another display case because the one behind me is completely full.
Yeah,
and so I got to buy. I got to buy a couple more display cases.
Is the one behind you your great
big 6-foot one from that?
Yeah, but is it the one you keep all your built stuff in that's not painted?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's just your storage of built stuff one.
Oh no, that's that one back there is the one I use for well, I use it basically the shelves are actually full of finished completed models.
Okay.
And everything else. The very bottom of it is when I get those inches to build something.
Okay, that's it.
And I throw those in now. But what I got to do is IKEA has just replaced their little 3-shelf glass case with a new one, which I actually like better.
Yeah.
And it's like $129.
And I think they got rid of the standard all glass one that they
had.
The
one used to sell for like $70-$80 now.
It's
they still have it on the website, but I think they're closing it out.
Yeah, I think there's some changes going on with them.
Yeah, I'm going to order a couple of the new one to put a lot of. I'm going to have one for finished product and one for just my built stuff that I just build that I eventually want to paint. I also use the case to when I'm working on commission work. When I'm done with the commission piece, if I still have more in the commission, I put that in that case so it doesn't get dusty before I pack it up.
Or nothing falls on it, or the cat doesn't play with them, or something. There's a lot of reasons to put them in.
Weirdness happens. So, but I'm right now in the process of piecing together all the stuff I'm going to need for next year, because I think you and I are talking about kind of doing a whole revamp, going back to where we paint on camera and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get a new camera mount. I think my camera for the painting is actually still viable. It still works really well.
Okay.
I just got to find a better way to mount it. I want to get a microphone mount that makes it a little more convenient than this one. And plus, one of the things I go through is I paint and I stream all from this location right here. I want to kind of separate the two.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that I can have a streaming place where my computer's set up. I don't have to pull the keyboard, move it around. I can leave that set up. And then I can just simply turn from here to paint over here. So
yeah. Well, and you do commission painting. So you probably need to have you should probably have a couple painting stations. You should have your big commission painting station where you have big projects laid out. And then you probably want a little one just for your stuff.
Right.
So it's not interfering with your commission stuff, and then something for streaming.
Well, the other problem for me to keep from getting bored, because you got the grunt work when you're painting doing assembly line painting on 10 Marines, it gets really boring at times because you're just kind of grinding through that part. And you get excited when you get to the detail work.
Sure.
So that's the other problem that I have is I have 5 or 6 projects in various stages of completion, and I rotate through so I don't get bored. Because there's a point you get bored, you just kind of go, okay, I'm done. I'm going to go watch something. I'm going to watch Thundercats for a while before I come back.
Thundercats.
Something. So,
yeah. But yeah, so we're talking about that. I'm still I've got my new chair. I still got to do a little cleanup. I'm also still on the lookout for. I haven't decided if it's going to be a second monitor or just a very long monitor. You know how they make the long monitor, so I can do the split screen onto one monitor.
Sure.
It's all about price, though. It's how much do I want to invest in a monitor that's going to last some time, but there's eventually it's just going to be garbage.
Well, I have tasked my buddy Darren, who loves building computers, to he's getting me a price on building me a new machine.
Building a new machine.
Believe it or not, this one that I'm using now is almost 5 years old, 6 years old.
Is that good or bad?
It's bad because I can't right now. If I wanted to upgrade to Windows 11, I can't. My machine can't handle it.
Because I use Macs and I still have a MacBook. The one we started the show with
Right.
which was already like 5 years old. I'm still using that MacBook. But it still works. Like,
Yeah.
I don't play games online. You play games. You play some games online.
Some games online, but they're I mean, like World of Tank Blitz is the only thing I really play online.
Okay.
I'm thinking about downloading and going into Steam and buying Rogue Trader, the new GW game that's getting a lot of hype.
Okay.
But I do a lot of streaming. I mean, because I've got a new monitor that I'm thinking about picking up, which is a bigger monitor, and go that route. But again, I'm getting ready to relocate the whole studio, so I don't want to move again. This is the second time I've had to move it.
Okay.
I want to make sure I have everything in place to make it, because I'll have when I move it, I'll have a streaming station, I have a painting station, I'll have an airbrush station, and then probably a place for building. So.
There you go. Heron's just talking about using those little multi-section craft storage bins to put the miniatures in, like the ones they use for beads.
Yeah.
And that's a salute. That's a possibility for these Song of Ice and Fire models, because I don't really care if they get a little beamed up. they're plastic. They're board game pieces.
One of the guys that I paint for he uses these, which is actually kind of genius.
Maybe just stacks them.
Well, basically, here's my latest commission project from me. So another Kings of War project. But when he buys them stuff for an army, he can put this whole thing in here.
Right.
All the boxes will fit in here, and he lines it with metal at the bottom, and they stack. They're designed to stack on top of each other. And then when the army's built and painted, when I finish it, I just magnetize the bases and put it back in here.
Right.
And then he picks this up, and then he brings me another box.
Well, there you go.
So it's kind of genius, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot of different storage solutions. I usually take a banker's box, cut it down short. So usually a banker box is tall. I just cut it down short.
Right.
And I kind of use those because I can adjust the height of those for the army that I'm using. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to put a stomp. I can put a stomp in a whole box, but like these are just little dudes, so I can just cut it down. I just got to find a place to put it. That's all.
Well, I'm so far behind the times, but I just was told by a buddy of mine out here that Battlefoam now has magnetic trays. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hadn't even seen those before.
Yeah, it's like a hard case that can slip into one of the things, and there's trays that you can.
Yeah.
They're not the inventor of it. Don't let Romeo fool anybody. They didn't invent
it.
No.
I don't give credit out there for that kind of stuff, but
yeah, it's a little like basically think about it. If you ever around bakers in a bakery or anything, they like if you go to the donut shop, they have the rack.
I've been to a donut shop.
I'm sorry.
Former law enforcement, and still carrying around about 18 dozen of those donuts.
So basically, it's just a bunch of grooves in the side, and you just got these trays, just like a donut rack or a bread rack, and you can just you can put them in and adjust whatever height you need to slide them in, and you're good to go. And it's rare earth magnets are the big thing. We've been using them for I don't know how long, but now the young kids think they're cool. So yeah, you just magnetize it to that, and boom. Could you do something different? Sure. Could you just get any kind of you could take that box that guy is using, and you could put a metal tray in the bottom, and then you can just put some other tray, some supports on the tray, and then you can just put another tray on top of that, another tray on top of that, and you can just create a whole big storage unit. And with the old world coming out, oh my God, are we going to see the return of the toolbox? Think about it. We're going to return the toolbox. We're bringing back the red whippy sticks, and we're bringing back toolboxes.
All right, I'm just blocking out the red whippy stick comment. I remember the day though especially when I played DBR and DBM, I just went out and bought a Craftsman toolbox.
Yep.
That had that's where my DBM, and I had my Samurai, my late Imperial Romans, and my Vikings and my Scots all just each had their own little tray.
Because those were 15 mil?
15s, yeah.
Yeah. So you could put a whole army in one drawer of the toolbox.
In some cases, two.
Depending on what army you're playing.
Yeah, well, I can put my late Imperial Japanese and my late Imperial Romans in the same drawer
There you go.
because they were expensive.
I still have 3 of those toolboxes in my garage that I just use for random like screws and nuts and bolts anymore, but they were all originally designed for my Orcs and Goblin army
Yeah, back in the day.
So they have, you open up the lid, you got the deep tray for big stuff, and then you have like 2 or 3 little trays underneath that. And I was watching, what was I watching? It's a YouTube channel called Squarebase, I think is Squarebase or something like that.
Yeah.
The personalities that are running the show are pretty well known in the GW realm, but off the top of my head, I can't think of their names. But they were just talking about so there's been a leak, amazing how leaks happen, of the box for the upcoming Tomb Kings.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So the box that they showed, it's all flat, so it hasn't been folded and made into a box. It's just a stack of the prints.
Right.
They're going back to artwork on the front, like good old days of Squarebases. When GW didn't put models on the covers of the boxes, they put artwork.
Yeah.
So they're going back, which I like how the guy was articulating that. He was like, yeah, because they're not making new models, so why would you put pictures of old crappy models on the cover? So how are you going to suck people in? So, and then they showed the back, which all has the contents of what's coming in the Tomb Kings box set, which looks really nice. But they are bringing back the red whippy sticks in the box. The picture showed red whippy sticks.
I may have to get out of this hobby. I may have to. I'm going to take up fishing.
Convenient leak. Yes, Joe. It was a very convenient leak before the holidays.
That's how much I hate the red whippy. I just may stop.
you may abandon the hobby. But they're still using old models, and they mentioned, he was talking about how some people are like, why aren't they just making new models? I'm like, well, what if I have an old collection of models and I just need to finish out my old collection? I want them to make the old models so I can finish out my old collection. So,
well, the other side of that coin is I love Warhammer Fantasy. Don't get me wrong.
Sure,
but it never reached the height that 40K has.
No,
and quite frankly, Age of Sigmar has outperformed it as well. So really, they're bringing back Old World more from a nostalgia standpoint. And the old models kind of fit that whole thing.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, but there's going to be new models because we've seen the Bretonnians got some new models, and there's going to be new models. But to get the game up, get the game running, and get people buying it again, just make the old models. Yeah. And then as time goes on, if it launches and it gets wildly popular again, and people are like clamoring for it, and if they see Age of Sigmar suffering from it, and they start like, okay, maybe they'll start bringing in models. I don't know.
I'm going to correct you. Warhammer was never wildly popular.
Yeah, it was.
I sold the stuff for 9 years. It sold okay. Wildly popular in a business sense, it never attained.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. But when you especially in the US, we had a really hard time getting people. Morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
People to be wildly excited about. There were guys out there that are nutters, just like you are with everything else. But again, I apologize because everything I look at, I always go back to the business side of trying to sell it.
Right.
Yeah. And
you think they would discontinue the Old World if Age of Sigmar started suffering? Huh.
If they cannibalize their customer base, that's absolutely. Don's actually making a very good point. If basically they bring out Old World, and that's the other thing, if they launch Old World and a full-blown supported game, they do increase the risk that you're going to cannibalize your current Age of Sigmar customers, and they're going to split. We had the same thing happen with Lord of the Rings. We were selling Lord of the Rings. We were convinced as a company, and I say we because I was there at the time, that the Lord of the Rings game was going to cultivate new Warhammer players. And what ended up happening was we ended up cannibalizing our Warhammer sales a bit. And any new people that came in to play Lord of the Rings that's all they played.
Right.
And one of the reasons why it was in fact a better system.
One of their best, if you ask me.
It's a phenomenal system. But if they came into if they became a Games Workshop customer, Lord of the Rings was what they played. They didn't migrate to fantasy.
Right.
And they run that same risk if they go full-blown support of Old World from a business standpoint. They run the risk of cannibalizing their Age of Sigmar customers, and possibly, I doubt it, but possibly some of the 40K guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, there's crossover between 40K guys. Like, there's a lot of us out there that played both systems.
Right.
I don't know if you're going to see a huge shift of people leaving 40K to play.
There's not going to be a dent in 40Ks, especially with 10th edition. Watching 10th edition and I was started watching streaming with 9th, and literally looking at how much better 10th plays. And how balanced it is. I mean, because it's really, right now, I've been watching streaming at 10th edition, and I don't know how many times I've heard them during streaming say that the meta's been broken. People are actually performing well with armies that aren't considered meta.
Which is what you want.
Absolutely. Now, I was reminded by a friend of mine who said, yeah, but wait till the codexes come
out. Yes. But that's kind of what you want in a 40K has become a very competitive focused game.
Yeah.
And you want to see people win, not because of the rules in the codex, but because their play style, they can play the actual game, or the luck of the dice favored them a little bit more.
Well, the nice thing is that the way the system plays now, from what I've seen and what I've been able to gather, and I go back to my days when we always had codex creep. We always had kind of issues like that. But when you start seeing people playing the game, and literally, when I first started watching streaming, there were 5 armies that were always in the finals every single time. Now it kind of rotates, and there's different armies in there all the time, and they've really done a good job, because it's lessened the army creation, and it's lessened the dice, and it really comes down to how you play. And now again, Codex is going to come out, and that all could go out the window. But
Don's saying that there is no meta; it's that some people are just better at breaking the rules. I don't know if there's a hidden comment there or not.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. So,
but it should be more like football, where sometimes a team gets better players, and they're just better football teams, and they take it to the Super Bowl, but you never know. There's always that wild card, and there's always something that could happen that changes that a little bit. And it's, I don't know.
I've been watching streaming through since I moved back. Streaming is on weekends. Streaming games that are live streamed have been what I have on, and quite frankly, I've learned a ton about 10th edition just from listening and watching the stream. And it's a different environment from 9th to 10th. It really, I'm not saying this. It's dramatic. It's how much differently the games are played, and how much differently the composition is. And it's just been, it's actually kind of, like I said, I think I said this last week, it's kind of altered my perception of competitive play.
Well, we'll see how they move forward as all the new codexes. I guess the road
change all that.
Yeah, the roadmap is there. Codexes are coming out, so we'll see how the environment changes. I don't know. Haven't really looked at 10th edition. I don't even think I've owned the 10th edition rulebook. Oh, no, I do own the 10th edition rulebook. But I don't know. That's about all I got for 10th edition.
I'm actually looking forward to actually playing it.
Rose has written, for example, aggressors have always been terrible, and they still are, but if you add X, Y, and Z, then they become one of the best units in the game. Yeah, that's true. That's what the whole codex part is all about. They create codex, and then whoop, you're number one. But it's interesting. I'm just waiting for the old world stuff to come out. So predictions from this YouTube channel, Square Bases, is like they're like, oh, boxes they're making boxes, and they're like that means it should be soon. It's like they're just making boxes. Like, who knows where the photo was leaked from?
I find it very surprising that you're excited about them talking about making boxes, and I know what you're thinking. I hope they're sturdy and I can use them.
I hope I can use those boxes for something else. Hey, the Epic box is
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Send me yours, please.
Right now, it's holding my Epic stuff.
That's exactly what I'm going to use it for. I'm just going to turn right around and because I will. I don't now. The bases for Epic are thinner than normal GW bases.
Sure.
They're not as so I don't know what kind of a magnet I can put underneath them to I don't know if I can put a magnet underneath to magnetize them to metal trays or not.
You can buy some very thin foil.
Okay.
Almost foil and just put on the bottom and then your magnet will just stick to that.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you can go. And there's some pretty thin magnets out there.
Yeah, but is there a void underneath the base? I haven't seen the underside of any of the bases. Everybody that's painting bases and showing bases is just showing the top. If it's thinner, is there a void or is it a solid flat surface underneath?
On the base, there is a flat surface.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Right, but you can also buy that. You remember that sheet they used to use? That it's not magnetic itself, but I mean, it doesn't. You can't. If you put a magnet to it, it sticks, but it's kind of flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use something like that. So.
Perfect. That's what I'll be doing then. Making me some bases. Going back to the old school Epic stuff. I can't wait. I'm kind of excited. It's selling out like hotcakes. Like all the shops it's just selling. People are into it. But is it selling because it's the bright new shiny, or is it selling because people really want to play it? So you put a magnet on the top of the base and sculpt trim. There you go. I like that. We could do that. We'll figure it out. I got to just see the base. I haven't seen them yet. So,
well, you have one. You can open it and take a look.
No, I can't. My wife wrapped it. You make refrigerator magnets. That's the kind of stuff. Yeah,
I am certain with your experience in this area, you will figure it out once you see the bases.
Yes, and I am looking forward to it.
I don't do a lot of magnetizing. I think magnetizing is overdone.
I think it's just for transportation purposes. Yeah. So I just don't want them to slide around. I could do foam trays. I don't. The box should be big enough. You might be able to put a foam carry tray in there.
Right now, I could put everything that came in the Epic box in my old Chesic cases.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, there's not that much there.
Well, but you know me. There may be a problem.
Well, I gotta say, my favorite kit so far is the Thunderhawk, which didn't come in that box yet. But the Thunderhawk is a gorgeous model.
Did you get one yet, or are you going? All right. Did you build it?
It's built. It's phenomenal. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to paint it.
And we're talking about doing a paint weekend or something in February, most likely after I come back from vacation.
I am building mine, and then it's getting put back in the box, and I will then come back. I'm going to prime it, build it, and prime it, and then whenever you and I start that build weekend.
That's pretty much what I'm going to try to get done, is get a lot of it built and get it all ready, because the stuff I have right now is very minimal. I've got the box set, and I've got one box of Bane blades because that's all I could get my hands on at the time financially. So we'll have to see when stuff gets put back into stores, what else I can get my hands on. Still haven't been able to find the cards to play. So potato.
And I have decided when we do our paint weekend, I am doing white scars.
You are going white scars. I'm going white scars. So you go, would it be red? So it's gonna be white
with red accents.
Okay, so it's red accents still. Okay. I was thinking Imperial Fist, the yellow.
That'd be cool.
I've been seeing a lot of people paint. Sounds like a fun weekend to come up. Yes, it's going to be.
Yeah, we're hoping to. We're going to do that after Mike gets back from vacation, probably in February. We're going to do an epic build weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna do like we did last time. We're gonna start like on a Friday. We may even want to start on Thursday and just like stream every day and do like, we're not gonna shower. All we're gonna do is live on caffeine and Mountain Dew. And
first of all, living on caffeine and Mountain Dew that's not a special thing for that weekend. We do that every day anyway.
We're gonna eat our lunch while we're painting. Because it will be, but yeah, I think it'd be just a fun little. Let's just spend
Yeah,
like the. I really enjoyed the one time we did that.
yeah, it was good.
It's not something I can do like every weekend.
It was a good weekend. We got a lot done, and it was just a lot of fun popping in once a day, twice a day. Like, here's our progress. Here's where we're at. Here's what
And I don't know exactly how much. Like I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to get painted in one weekend because I have a lot. I am struggling. I either want to do Blood Angels or Night Lords, either lots of red or lots of blue. So if you are like, so with Epic, and this is what I'm noticing, and I think we talked a little bit about it. Horus Heresy has a lot of dark colors.
Yep.
And once you start painting your little models with dark colors, they get lost. So
hence the white scars.
Yeah, hence the yellow. But I haven't gotten the book, so I want to get the book so I can dive through and see. Because we got 2 factions in the box set. You're going to focus solely on the Imperium.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably pick up since we're not going to do it in February. I'm gonna pick up a few more loyalist box sets.
Okay.
I want to get another Thunderhawk. I want to get some other vehicles, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And more troops, of course, and then and bikes. If I'm doing white scars, I gotta have bikes. I gotta figure out.
And I don't know when they're releasing the bikes.
I don't know. I may not have them in time.
But, Luna Wolves. What's a Luna Wolf?
Luna Wolves are basically they're basically Horus's Legion was originally called the Luna Wolves.
Oh.
And then they changed to the Sons of Horus.
Got it. So, yeah. But you're going white scars, which is totally
Jagatai Khan.
Totally different than what you normally do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm just nothing will kill the momentum behind a game if they don't get the product into the store so people can buy it. And we've seen this happen before. So I'm just hoping right now it's just a matter of, they just got to get it on the boats and get it across the sea.
I'm struggling right now because I'm working on I'm still doing the Tale of Four Warlords, of course.
Sure.
And I ran out of my varnish because I use Munitarium varnish. I like it. It works well for me.
What kind of varnish?
The GW varnish. It's called Munitarium, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find any. And I was looking online, and there are people out there selling 1 can for $40.
That just turns my stomach.
And so I did find some at but I haven't had a chance to do a local drive-through. I mean, there's 3 stores I can hit that'll take me about a day.
Right.
To hit all of them. Then I'm going to go see if I can find any at the stores. But yeah, I looked online and it's going for like 40. There's between 25 and $40 a can.
Is that because of shipping? Like, are they doing free shipping? And it's because
it's still going to cost me $15 to ship.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
It's just crazy. It's whatever GW's up against on getting themselves back up on top of getting their product done.
I've had to just switch over to Mr. Hobby for my clear coat because
I should probably do that
because I can't get the Tester dull coat anymore. Every time I go to the stores to get Tester's dull coat, it's out of stock. Or
they have phased out almost all. The Model Master line is gone completely.
Right, that's the special paints.
They have phased out all of their hobby related stuff other than the basic Tester's paint.
Yeah, so
and I would imagine eventually that's going to go away.
So yeah, so I've had to switch to Mr. Hobby because I don't like. Back in the day, I used the GW products and some other products, and they were more water-based clear coats.
Yep.
I prefer the acrylic-based or the actual, like, what is it? What kind of it's not acrylic. Enamel-based. Yes, I like the enamel-based. Normal price is $25. I just started using Armory Painter Matte. I don't like it as good, but it works and is cheaper. Okay. And an interesting thing is that when the Horus Heresy first started up, the Loyalist Sons of Horus cast off that name and went back to Luna Wolves and died that way.
Yeah. Basically, what happened was they were originally the Luna Wolves, And then when Horus became War Master, the Emperor allowed him to change his name, and he changed him to the Sons of Horus. And then he turned to Chaos. And any of the loyalists, any of the Sons of Horus that didn't turn to Chaos, went back to Luna Wolves, and then died pretty quickly.
But they died valiantly.
They did. They absolutely did.
It was like Custer's Last Stand, the charge. Ah! Yep. I'm waiting for him to release Cavalry. That would be awesome. There was Cavalry in Epic.
I know. Well, there's Rough Riders. There's a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, so I'm kind of now for the. So we got the loyalists, and then you've got the bad guys. What's that?
The heretics.
The heretics.
Traitor Marines.
I might end up doing mine Death Guard. I'm really leaning hard to go Death Guard. Might try color max clear, flat, crystal clear, better than dull coat. Well, they're the same. I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that all Rust-Oleum product? Because all the clear coat was Rust-Oleum.
Yeah,
I think Crayola is Rust-Oleum, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, I just use Mr. Hobby. It worked.
I use product that I trust, and I don't trust Krylon or Rust-Oleum at all because I've used it twice in my modeling history, and both times I ended up getting a can that melted my model.
Ew, that's never good.
Their quality control is not the same because they don't expect people to be painting little tiny soldiers with it.
Nope, they're painting cars.
So I will go to a miniature formulated sealer.
Now maybe if I'm doing something bigger, like a big piece of terrain, which I don't do, maybe. But
a big block of resin, something like that. Yeah, but I've had kits where I've bought because it's cheaper, and you can they got a lot of good stuff. But I've used it on models, and they've ended up melting or softening the plastic, and they collapse.
Well, my biggest thing is I try to stay away from the big cans.
Yeah,
because I'm using such a little amount on such a regular basis that eventually it clogs up. Like my primer, I get a big can of primer. Eventually, I end up having the cap gets clogged up. And it's like they don't sell caps. You have to go buy another can and get the cap just to finish off the one can, and then that's why I like the little. I'll still use the Testors small cans or the Tamiya, small cans of primer.
Yep.
Or I might end up switching back over to an airbrush and just because it's just easier.
Yeah, I got to tell you that the AKI flat is fantastic. And there's times though I just want to get it done. I don't want to set up my airbrush, so a rattle can works best.
Yeah, it just depends. Weather is a big factor.
Whether or not I care.
Well, when you're painting when we're painting Epic, something to think about. How are you going to prime them? Are you going to prime them black? You're going to prime them white? I'm going to go mid-tone gray. I don't want it too dark and too light. After you spray any rail can, turn it upside down. Yeah, I tried that. It works sometimes. They should probably make like a separate. I should probably find just a can with air in it, and then just shoot air through it just to clean it out. But that sounds like work. But. Squigmar had a video about priming. He had 40 different styles of caps that he just swapped out as he needed the spray pattern. Oh, I didn't know they sold different caps. I'll have to look. But when you prime your Epic stuff, you want to think about what color you're going to prime it. Because first of all, you don't want to put a lot of paint on your models because they're small, the detail's fine. So you want to do kind of like a light prime.
I doubt I rattle can them. I'll probably airbrush them.
And that's kind of where I'm going with it too. It's probably going to just be a big airbrush session of just sitting in here. I'll set up my vent and just airbrush because that way I'm not like putting on thick coats of paint, so I'm not hiding my detail. And I'm probably just going to go with like a mid-tone gray, not too dark, not too light, just something in the middle there.
My plan to start is I'm going to airbrush them with a gray.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to prime them with a gray, using Vallejo gray. And then I'm going to probably airbrush a lovely little black ink over them.
Yeah, there you go.
And then go back through. And literally it's going to be, I don't want to say it's not going to be dry brushing, but I'm just going to go through and hit the surfaces. So I have that underneath side. This is for my infantry.
Right.
And then my vehicles, I'm just going to prime them. I'm going to prime them gray, hit them with a light coat of white, ink wash them with a muddy black.
Yep. Ooh, muddy black.
Or oil wash them, I should say.
Yeah.
and then sponge that off, and then get some of that weathering effect on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's how it is in my mind right now.
Our minds work in mysterious ways. But if you're putting too much primer or too much,
you can lose detail.
Yeah, you're going to start losing that detail pretty quick. So you just be careful. Just use very light coats if you're going to do lots of priming. But I think the airbrush is probably going to be the winner for priming.
Yeah.
Versus, even though, don't get me wrong, rattle cans, simple, easy. I'm done. But you just want to make sure it's light. And also, if you're doing it with an airbrush, you could go, like, you could do the bottom shading with black and then come from the top with the lighter gray.
Yeah.
So you could create some of that pre-shading with an airbrush that you won't necessarily be able to. You could do it with a rattle can, but I think an airbrush gives you more of that control. But you do want to use a lighter color so that the colors you're putting over it, you're putting white. So it doesn't really matter. They pop. So, and oil wash, I think I got the noosh, and I don't think noosh is going. Maybe for a vehicle, if you thin it down enough with some water, making it more of a washy type.
Yep.
But I think oil wash is going to be like the panel liner. You can just go panel liner. Like, you don't have to make an oil wash. You can just use panel liner.
Well, before we get to our build weekend, I'm planning on building. I've already built I've actually built the Imperial Guard tanks that come in the set.
Yeah.
And I'm going to test those.
Yeah, I would.
Before we get to the actual build weekend, when I'm working on my loyalists, I'm going to take those guard tanks individually and try different technique to get the effect that I want.
That's what I plan to do a couple infantry tests, just so that way when we sit down for a whole week, we kind of have, okay, these are the colors I'm using. Little light burst of primer at a distance. Yeah, depends on your primer though. Like, some primer's thick, some primer's thin. So, got to be careful.
And also out there, the big thing for you guys out there is going to be a weather factor.
Well, right now we call it winter.
I prime indoors. So
look at you.
Yeah.
So. You do your airbrush.
I do, or rattle can. I prime indoors.
You gotta. How do you deal with the smell?
I don't have a permanent place, but I can set up my, especially in the winter when it's really cold right now.
Yeah.
I actually have a little table I set up, and I'll literally open the window, set the vent in, put my priming, my airbrush booth in there, kick the fan on, and I will do all my priming, blow it out the window, but then I have to tear it back down.
You have to be quick about it.
That's one of the reasons why I'm actually switching rooms, so I'm going to have my airbrush priming station permanent, where I don't have to keep tearing it down. So.
Yeah, for me, like, I have 2 windows in this room. Obviously, the one that always glows gives me my halo effect, but that window's literally right by a closet door. So if I set anything, whatever I set in front of the window, which right now I have my bass amp set there, but they're on wheels. So when I need to get to the window, I can just wheel that out. The other window's over here, which means I have to redesign my room, and I just don't want to do that.
I don't blame you.
That sounds like work.
Yeah, when I get moved after the first year, I'll have a permanent airbrush and priming station.
That's why I just went with, you can kind of see it there, that silver tubing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a dryer vent, which is super long. And I have that, and then I have a piece of foam, and I put it through the window, drop that out the window, and my booth is right behind me when I set it up.
Yeah, I'm also going to change the fans out in my airbrush booth.
Get a better one.
Basically a higher revolution, higher power bathroom exhaust fan.
Joe has a nice window in front of me that doesn't. I can open it. I didn't know the windows at that house open differently. They're the crank windows that crank out. They're different. All right, so should we do photos?
Yeah, we have photos.
All right, let's do some photos, because I think I posted one.
Huh?
I think I posted a photo.
Did you?
Uh-oh.
Let me check. Did I miss it? Hang on, I'll be right back.
You have
where it was. Under what category did you post your picture?
Board games.
Board games. Keep talking.
So yes. But yeah, we'll look forward to that in February of next year. Most likely mid to late February of next year to just do a big weekend. So everyone just kind of, and it's just because we're painting Epic. If you all want to join in on this Epic weekend, you can paint whatever you want. Like it's just going to be a celebration of painting miniatures. And really kind of showcasing what you can do is if you clear your mind of clutter and you just focus in on a project for like a weekend, how much you can get accomplished in a weekend. So it's all that kind of stuff. How we doing?
You didn't. Oh, geez. There we go. I'm back. Yes, you did in fact post a picture. Here's the problem. You posted it directly under the last picture that you did, and
look, are the same models.
I didn't check the date. Those are the same models. Those are the same models. Why should I worry about that one?
Make it a 30K weekend, Epic or bigger. Epic or bigger. Okay. We can do that. Oh, hey, I know that guy.
There we go.
Octopus.
Yeah. Doc Ock.
Doc Ock. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, that's his gun on his side. Very cool.
That's his big cannon.
That's his cannon gun.
Hey Joe, just to give you a little tip on pictures. I don't know if you do this or not, but if you actually set your camera a little bit away and then zoom in, you actually can level your focal point, and you won't have these areas that are closer to the camera be blurred like one's farther away. It kind of gives you more of a flat focal point. Helps bring everything into focus. Just a tip.
That background's perfect for that model.
It absolutely is. Perfect. Looks great.
Oh, Winter Soldier.
I'm
assuming these are my.
Wait a minute. I think I opened up the wrong one.
Uh-oh.
Remember, it's all about pushing buttons, right?
Oh, we're terrible at this. Well,
we are horrible.
I'm really good at pushing the right buttons, but it usually gets me in trouble.
Nope, we're good. We're good. My memory's old and feeble.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
So back at it.
It's been a long day.
It's just got started, buddy.
I know. Mine started almost 4.5 hours ago, but yeah. Yeah. Nope. I don't know why they just look. And I think the reason they look familiar is I've been working with these the whole time. So.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this is all Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah, look at all Marvel Crisis Protocol. Yeah.
Boom! Oh, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Very cool. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I forget now. He was in the Black Widow movie, I believe.
Yeah, but he's got the thing on his hand like
yeah.
Crimson Dynamo.
Yep.
Dynamo.
He's Russian.
The Russian. There we go. Captain. Yeah. Is this the Russian Captain America? Oh crap, my cats are beating each other up.
Your cat
outside my door. There was a cat fight.
Your cats have declared war on one another.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty bad.
And that was another version of Crimson Dynamo. And then we have the lizard.
Now this is he's jumping out of a thing. I thought the brown base was the base of the model. I was like, well, that's a different, but that's just part of the display.
I think he's escaping the water.
Yeah, he's jumping out of the water. Good use of color. The purple pans, the blue water, all that just blends nicely. Yeah, now we're into superheroes. I don't know who these people are. But I like the model, the way they did the effect on around the hands. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Tim put up again. Just you want to look at look at the epic detail.
Yeah, epic.
That was phenomenal.
Dark Star. That was Dark Star.
Okay.
Yeah, these are like you and I were talking. It's like they just literally took the actual model kit, scaled it down to epic, and said, "Here you go, have fun." But that's technology today.
There's a ton of detail there.
Yeah, and according to Tim, these took a while to build. You don't just slap them together.
they don't build quickly, but it's worth the effort. The detail's fantastic.
Yeah. Which is why I think oil washes are going to be probably the win on these.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
So, because you have more control over it. Oh, look at those.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very good stuff.
Red Guardian was the looking character. Oh,
yeah, Red Guardian.
Yeah. Guardian. Got to put that Bronx accent on it. Very cool. I can't wait. I just can't wait to dig into these and start doing. I don't know anything. Like I've seen people saying they're magnetizing all the different weapons and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Epic wasn't about having what you see is what you get. Epic was saying, this is what I paid for. Here's a model. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I have considered magnetizing the turrets so I can switch them around.
Well, do you get multiple turrets or do you,
Yeah, you get both turrets.
Yeah. So I would do that, but that would be about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna magnetize the sponsons because I'm gonna end up losing those little pieces anyway.
Yeah.
I'll magnetize the big turrets so I can swap them out. And I just went with whatever weapon I like best on the side.
Don's liking the little tiny dudes sticking out of the hatches. They look cool.
They do. They look great.
Well, that's a good way to. That's a trick back in the day with Flames of Wars. You always did closed hatches except for your command tank. You put a dude out of the command tank to represent that's the command tank.
Yeah, I just find another way to mark it. I just painting the tiny dudes just makes me crazy.
Yeah, well, especially when you're going to put so much effort into painting the tank, and then it's like, oh, that little dude's just going to take away from it.
I just want to do too much detail is the problem I run into.
Yeah. But like you can see the detail on their shoulder blades and stuff. Oh, look at my dudes.
And here we are again at the Song of Ice and Fire summer musical.
Hey, they're getting ready to do the Chaparena.
Well, this is why these are the same guys we had before when I was scrolling through everything. And that explains one of the, because I basically, as you know, when you go in there, if there's a new post in one of our categories, it is highlighted. And I popped in and I went, I've already shown these.
Yeah, no.
And just kind of mind warped past them. So.
I just painted the hair different color.
I mean, these guys look fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, just having fun. This has really developed my skill set using contrast paint as not contrast paint.
Yep.
Thinning it way down, using it as a base coat, using it as a shade effect. I do think I still till this day will think GW really missed the boat the way they advertised contrast when it came out. You know, the slap it on and go type mentality. It's just if you thin it down, you do some things with it, you can get some really cool effects.
Yeah, it's really good for certain things. You can really get some good stuff.
Yeah. But they're all
good.
Thank you. And then we got this guy.
This pack is a work in progress. We've got these are my Thunderwolf calves.
They got red beady eyes.
Little red beady eyes. Or the wolves do anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the beginnings of my first Thunderwolf squad.
How many is in the squad?
Three. There's 6 total. I haven't decided if I want to do them in 2 packs of 3 or 1 pack of 6.
Ooh, a 6 pack.
Yeah. So but I've got the first 2 done with the spears.
I love the brown tint that you're adding in there instead of them all being white and grays and stuff. You're adding that color, that earth tone.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a different pattern, so each wolf was a little unique into itself.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool.
Then there's the third wolf, and I've got the rider. The rider is complete. I just haven't had a chance to get them all assembled yet.
Yeah.
So that squad will be done today. And I'll have the bases are already finished, and I'll finish up the wolves today for the second group of 3. I just got to wait for a box set of riders to come in.
Where's the one-man wolf pack?
What do you mean the one-man wolf pack?
Isn't there a one-man wolf pack?
Sorry,
that was a Hangover reference. That looks good, dude. I love it.
Yeah, so that's where they're at. But that's all the picks we have today.
Very cool. And Heron, you are absolutely correct. It works great for doing all kinds of different transitions with colors, and it's a if you thin it down enough, it's a great wash.
I have actually started mixing that. Like I'll take the Blood Angel Red contrast paint.
Yeah.
And I will mix it with my the Evil Sun Scarlet.
Yep.
To get a different color shade, but also pull some of that contrast effect into that color and use it that way. I've been playing around with that a little bit too.
Mixing paints with washes is actually nothing new. Like, and contrast is kind of the same. Like the properties are probably closer match because they're both GW properties.
Yeah,
like the way they make their paints, and they're probably using a lot of similar products. So mixing your paints with the contrast to darken the tone, because most contrast paints are dark.
right.
They're not light highlights; they're very dark undertones.
Yeah, well, like on the red, on the like you see the scarf that's wrapped around the spears.
Yeah,
I will base coat those in Wild Rider Red, which is kind of a reddish orange,
like a mid-tone.
Yeah, like a mid-tone, and then I'll give it a quick kind of a quick edge highlight of a yellow, and then I take Evil Sun Scarlet and Blood, because the Blood Angel Red is too dark.
Yep.
So I'll mix the two together to get, because I want the properties from the contrast, and then I will wash it with that, and then I'll go back and hit the edges with the highlight.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. So, all right. Well, what else do we got going on?
And that's about it. I mean, it's the last show of the year. We got. I mean, I got a ton of stuff going on here, project wise.
Yeah, the wife and I need to go out to. We're gonna go hit. She's making a blanket for a friend's retirement, so we gotta go hit the Michaels. So gonna go Bear Saturday stores right before Christmas. So we'll see. But luckily, we're going to an offbeat Michaels, so we're not going to one that's at a really pop. Like, we're not going by the mall.
I will have my grandkids midday for a couple hours while they go. Everyone goes out and does some last minute Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be cleaning a little bit, but I'll be back in here painting shortly after that. So,
yeah, I think my day is going to be spent doing that, and then I got some stuff around the house to get done. I don't think I'll get any painting. I did some painting this morning when I woke up, but I don't think I'll get any painting done this afternoon. But yeah, so should work out. And then Reacher should be coming out soon.
Reacher was available on Thursday. I've already watched the first. They dropped 3 episodes on Thursday night.
I missed it. How was it?
It's Reacher.
Do you both have your? Is Christmas shopping ever really done?
Mine actually is.
So,
well, I'm still buying for me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm still buying stuff for myself, but yes.
No, I actually bought my last 2 presents this morning online.
There you go. So there you go. My shopping is pretty much done for my wife, but Reacher, that is, it's incredible. So
yeah, you're getting a little bit of backstory on Reacher in this season.
Yeah, all I saw so far
you're getting a lot of backstory.
All I saw so far was that little preview about him saying, "I stand up for my friends" and blah blah blah. It's like on YouTube. It's just like the same thing being played over and over again on YouTube.
Yeah, they were supposed to drop 3 episodes Friday, but they actually dropped them Thursday night.
Okay. Well, then that will give me, maybe this evening, my wife and I can catch up a little bit on the Reacher story, because that's on Prime.
Yep.
So I'm kind of disappointed in myself. We cut a lot of our streaming services.
Sure.
It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's one of those things. Be careful what you wish for, and we always wish for customization in cable services. And now that we got such customization, everybody's charging, and I'm like, okay, this is costing me more than cable.
I actually have gotten to the point that I started bundling mine.
If there's a bundle available, yes.
Well, no, you can actually, like for Prime, you can also do Paramount Plus, and I mean you can actually group an HBO Max. You can bundle with someone else as well. So you can actually cut down. It doesn't cut your cost down a lot, but it does shave some stuff off the top.
Well, because Geddy Lee just is put out a series of movies on Paramount Plus about bass players. Like, and then it's Geddy. He's kind of a unique cat.
Yeah.
It's called Our Bass Players Human. It's the name of the series, and it's all about.
Watch Spinal Tap if you want to know about bass players.
So it's all about the bottom end, but it's about the life of certain bass players. So he's got Robert Trujillo from Metallica's on there, which he's also the original one of the bass. He was the bass player for Suicidal Tendencies, which I think he was a phenomenal bass player in Suicidal Tendencies, just because of the style of music leaned more into his bass playing, where in Metallica he's still a phenomenal bass player, but they don't really lean as much into his style of playing in Metallica as they did in Suicidal Tendencies. That's just a personal preference choice. It's not to start a war between Metallica fans. Anyways.
Isn't it sad that you can actually do that by saying something like
that? Yes, it is sad. And then he's also got Les Claypool, which is Primus. And then I don't remember the bass player's name from Nirvana. I don't really think he stands out as nicely as, when you got Les Claypool and Rob Trujillo and Geddy Lee, the bass player from Nirvana. Okay, whatever. Yeah. But he is iconic. Nirvana was iconic, so he's there. And then there's another, I forget the fourth one. Anyways, this is a 4-part episode that talking about bass players and their personal lives. What do they do outside of playing bass?
So let me guess, you resubscribed to Paramount.
Pretty much.
It's amazing. Watch this they'll subscribe, watch what they want to watch, and then they cancel their subscription and come back later.
Yeah, I could do that. I could just do the 1-month subscription. But anyways, it's just neat. I just Geddy Lee, like after I don't want to say Rush broke up. It's just they chose not to move forward once Neil passed away. Sure. But they're out doing other things. Geddy Lee's getting really into media stuff and books and interviews. And he's just out doing stuff, which is just fascinating. That I just admire him as a person. He's one of the bass players I like, not just as a bass player, but as a person. Like I find him interesting. He's big into baseball, which I'm not, but he's big into baseball. Him and Billy Sheehan. Billy Sheehan is just as a person, just a phenomenal person.
That's awesome.
So anyway, so I want to get those watched. I know. A lot of information there, but playing bass is a passion of mine. So
no, I never picked up on that.
You never picked up on that? I'm sorry. I should be more obvious about it. All right. Well, I don't have anything else really to talk about.
I said I'm just going to be prepping for my grandkids today. So.
All right. Well, then we are going to get out of here. Thank you all for hanging out with us this year. It's been a phenomenal year. Lots of models were painted at the hands of our fans and everybody out there. Everybody have a great holiday season, because you got Christmas and New Year's. Be safe, be happy. Let's embrace 2024 with new optimism. Let's be optimistic for 2024. That should be a slogan. All right, everybody, we're gonna get out of here. Have a great one. We'll see you next year.
We'll be back January 6th, where our first show in the new year. Yes. January 6th, 2024. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you then.
All right, bye.